Well, hello and welcome. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate your being here. If you haven't subscribed, go ahead, do that. Love you if you do. If you don't, welcome anyway. Today, I have been dying to try this. Now, I have a video where I created an antique mirror out of a picture frame, right? Out of the glass in the picture frame. And I did some stamping on it. I loved that. I also have a video where I took an old mirror, one that was all kind of worn, and you know how the mirror part has gotten all kind of mottled, and I sanded off some of the mirror, decoupaged some paper into it, so it's kind of like a reverse decoupage method. I loved that. And I've been toying in my head with, it might be cool to combine those two techniques. So I'm experimenting and you're coming along. I'm making no guarantees that this is going to work. Odds are what's going to happen is I'll have ideas on how to do it better. Maybe it will turn out and it will just be lovely. We'll see. So the first thing that I've got this frame that I thrifted. So a lot of times I just thrift old frames to be able to have for my projects, sometimes to just be able to put artwork that I do in so that I'm not paying a fortune in there for my customers are not paying a fortune for frames. And this one is kind of nice because it's just this really pale kind of gold and kind of a beigey kind of goldy sort of thing, and I'm kind of digging it. I think it might work with the decoupage paper that I have in mind. And so what my vision is we're going to create the mirror effect in kind of a hazy kind of halo around the outside of the glass, and then we are going to decoupage this face in the center. And this is from the Chateau Fleuret decoupage paper from Jamie Ray Vintage. So it's on the website if you need to grab yourself one. But I was thinking that face and then the mirror around it may be kind of cool. We'll see. It's not like I have this sitting off to this side to show you what it should look like if I mess it up. So the first thing that I have to do, because this is like nicely professionally framed, and it's just a print, so, okay, go figure, is we just need to take an X-Acto knife to the back, because I need to be able to access my glass from the back. So when I am doing things like this with these frames, I will, because I'm not going to use the matting and I'm not going to be using the picture, I save all that. So I guess that doesn't come as a surprise for any of you that follow me. But you never know when I'm going to do a craft project where that particular picture would be perfect on decoupage on a drawer front maybe, or on, on a box, something like that. Ah, okay. I was wondering why it wasn't just flipping out, but here's the deal. I have staples too, which just makes sense. So I'm just looking for my and there we go. So just a little print, nothing spectacular. All right, so for this, we are actually going to, and let me take the rest of my staples forward, because we're going to remove the glass from the frame. There we go. And everything else goes off to the side. Okay, so the first thing that I want to do is I do want to just kind of clean my glass really well because we're going to be painting over the glass and we're not going to get a chance to clean it after. Any schmutz that's on it is going to get painted in. So this is just the front, which I can clean afterward of any of my fingerprints. But I may as well clean that at the same time. And this is going to be the side that we are going to be painting a number of things on. So I just want to get that a little bit clear. There we go. So what my thinking is that I am going to want to create the halo effect just around the outside edges. And I hope for it to be a little bit kind of feathered, meaning I don't want it to be like this abrupt edging. I want it to be kind of loose and faded, so heavier toward the outside, lighter toward the inside. Does that make sense? And so what we're going to be doing is, because I'm going to tell you about it, and I'm going to turn you down a little bit so that you can see the tabletop a little bit more than me. But I'm using Rust-Oleum Mirror Effect spray paint. I got this off Amazon. I'll put the link in just in case you need to use that to find it quickly. So we're using this, and we're using a spray bottle that has a mixture 50-50 water and vinegar. That's it. And, you know, a couple of dry paper towels. So what we're in essence going to do is we're going to spray this around the outside. This is stinky. Do it in a ventilated area. I'm in a big shop here, so I'm good. But spray it around the outside, and then while it's still wet, we're going to spritz it lightly with the vinegar. And you will see kind of the blobs of the vinegar, like the vinegar and water is going to kind of coagulate, right? It's going to be little blobs. And then we're going to dab it lightly with our cloth so that we're going to take it up. So in essence, this is going to create a mottled effect rather than a pure mirrored effect. We want that aged, old, mottled, pitted kind of mirror effect. That's what this does. If you just want the straight mirror, do this. Don't do anything else, just this. And multiple light coats. And that's what we're going to do. I'm going to do this, then this, then this. Let it dry. This, then this, then this. Let it dry. So I'm going to keep doing that until when I look on the reverse side that I have enough of an effect. It's not going to be a perfect mirror yet because we still have to paint the back to increase that reflective property. But as long as I've got enough of that mirroring, that mottled look, kind of, we're going for a little bit of a smoky kind of look, then it's good to go. And then we can let it dry and then we'll move on to the next step. But in essence, it's that process, right? The mirror effect spray paint, the vinegar water, the dabbing, dry. Spray paint, you get it, right? So I'm gonna turn you down, let you watch as I'm doing this through the layers, and then we'll join up again for the step after that when it's all dry. Really, this should be pretty quick, I think. So it shouldn't be a lengthy process. have my mirrored effect all dry, and so it looks kind of like this. So you can still see through it, but that's because it doesn't have a backing on it yet. What I want to do is take this face from this, and I want to roughly tear it out. I don't want to have straight cut lines on this as I glue it in. So I'm just looking right now at kind of tearing it into kind of a rough shape that will maybe fit. And then I'll reduce it in size as need be. So and then I will, of course, save this paper for another project. And I don't want across the top to be a straight line either. So I want to have the tears and things, just so that, again, it's a little bit more organic, kind of works a little bit more with this. So I'm just going to kind of pretend that she's peeking through this way and see how big. So I need to get rid of all that there. And I think that roughly looks pretty good. So my front is face down, which means I'm going to decoupage her face down, right? Because I want to see her face through the other side. So what I am going to do is put my decoupage medium, and I'm going to be using, oh, you'd think I'd learn to open this before the video starts. Come on. Oh. So I'm using liquid patina. There we go. Couple of good bangs. And I have a sponge brush. So I am going to have to paint this on to the back of my mirror to be able to lay her down. And I'm really not looking at painting it where I don't need it. So I am going to kind of lay her on sort of straight. Push it all out, and then kind of go under some of the areas that it might not have all the glue down. And then what I will do is I'm going to then seal over top of this, because we still have, just looking for something smooth to kind of roll over this to get out a few of the wrinkles. There we go. Right. And then I'm going to decoupage down over top of it. And I'm going to let this dry fully, because our next step is going to be painting it. So again, painting the back. So if you've ever really looked at a mirror, there's always like a painted back. Usually it's black. And that's what helps the mirror reflect. So we need to paint the back of this. This is what it looks like so far. So kind of cool, but I'm hoping that the painting will actually intensify it. So I'm going to start with, and here's my thinking. I want to paint black around the edges, but if I paint the whole thing black, I think that it will darken my image a lot. I mean, it's kind of a dark image to begin with. So I think, and this could be a mistake, I don't know. I think I'm going to paint it white. So I'm going to kind of paint it white and feather toward the edges so that, again, I can feather the black coming in so that it's not like straight lines. Good in theory. We'll see how that is in practice. And there's no going back now because I put the white paint. So I'm using DIY paint. So I've got beadboard and I've got little black dress. Yes, just checking so I wasn't lying. So I have little black dress. So I'm gonna paint the white on, and just as I go to the edges, just kind of feathering them out a little bit. And I'm not taking it out as far as the paper. I'll take the black in a little bit closer than the white. I'm excited to see. This is the fun part about experimenting, guys. I mean, sometimes it means you have to be prepared to have messed it up because not all experiments work, you know, but it's not, a lot of times it's the learning of this. I mean, look, is this kind of pricey? Yes, but it's a small little can. I have done, this is the third mirror that I've used and it feels like it's about half full. So it goes a long way. Vinegar and water cost me nothing. Piece of decoupage paper you could have used, any kind of paper, picture, printed one out yourself, napkin, whatever. And the picture frame I thrifted. So I paid $8 less 20%. So let's just, you know, call it $6.50, right? So I didn't pay a lot for it either. So I don't have a lot of money invested in this. I do have some of my time, which, you know, I know is a valuable commodity. But that said, this is part of the fun of this, right? Is trying some stuff. So don't hesitate sometimes to, sorry about the bang, don't hesitate sometimes to just give something a go, because that's how we learn. And if we don't do something because we don't think we're going to be good at it, it means that we have seriously limited what it is that we would ever choose to do, because we're not good at anything the first time that we do it. We're not good at anything the first couple of times, the first dozen times. I'm not usually good at anything for the first 100. So, you know, I would never have done anything in my life. But cut yourself some slack even with the crafting. You know, a lot of times, like, we're just thinking, okay, gee, that was ugly, so I'm not going to try it. What did you learn? What didn't you like about it? What didn't work? What would you try instead? And there are often times, I mean, I'm doing this on video, and I show you when I mess up. If I'm doing this video, I don't know how this is going to turn out. So, quite honestly, when I turn it around, if I hate it, you'll know, but I will still put this video out, because what I will do is I will talk about then, if it's no good, why I think it's no good, what would I have done instead, or what would I recommend? Because maybe I can save you making those same mistakes. Now, you're free to make your own. You can add to it. Maybe the things that I tell you that I think would work instead don't. In which case, share them with me then, save me some effort. But, you know, that's how it goes for this. I am open in the comments for you sharing some of your thoughts. What should I have tried instead? What would you have recommended? That gives me some input too. I'm not the expert on everything. I know some stuff. I don't know it all. And a lot of these things I am trying for the first time. So I'm trying to take the black paint just up over the edging of the paper. So the edge of the paper is actually backed in black. In my head, I'm thinking that would look good. Now I may need 2 coats of the black because it looks a little streaky. The white, I'm not gonna need 2 coats of because it went over the decoupage medium and the decoupage paper. It's not right on that slick surface. But let's take a look. Okay, so here I'm being daring because I'm showing you as I look at it. Okay, so I'm seeing some of those black streaks. So I'm gonna have to do definitely more black. And what I'm thinking is maybe I didn't have enough mirror in those spots. So let's let this dry. It's gotta dry. And then let me try putting some more black on and we'll see if that starts to even it out a little bit. I haven't peeked. And I figured I'm gonna put it into the frame so we get the full effect because it is finished and it's going to look like it looks. There's no going back and altering it, in which case we're gonna look at it together and see what we think. So I will say this, very quick, simple process. I mean, the longest time that any of this is taking is you're waiting for it to dry, which really is no big hardship, right? It's do a couple sprays, walk away, do the laundry, come back, do a couple of sprays, go put some dinner on and come back, you know, whatever. I'm here in the shop, so I'm able to go off and do some other things and then come back and spray it again, and yeah, perfectly okay. All right, this is the moment of truth. This is our picture. Okay, that looks kind of cool. I kind of like, definitely the ripping around the edge is perfect. You can see where I had lighter mirroring. Oh my gosh. It's like, you know, when you have the word. So some lighter mirroring, but I don't actually mind it being darker in some places and lighter in some others. I'm gonna take some pics and be able to show you, and I'm kind of liking the frame with it too. I think it fits with her and her coloring and the look. Now that I've had a chance to look at it, and I quite like it, I think it looks cool, but let me tell you what I would do differently when I go to do this again. And I will do it again because I think it's got real possibilities. So what I would do is, where I did all of the mirror effect, 2 things I'd do. One, I would do it heavier. And secondly, I would paint it out black. So do the back covering before I do any of the decoupage, because the decoupage medium can go over top of the black paint. But I think that this outline here, right, where you see going around my edging, that I think is the decoupage medium. I think that it started to lift off some of our mirroring as we were going. I didn't see that happening, but I think maybe that's what did, or it kind of changed the look of it because of the decoupage medium. So a lot of the dark that I would have liked to have gone over this and created some shadowing couldn't, because it was having to go through the decoupage medium as opposed to being right on the glass. So we want that in contact with the glass. We want the mirroring effect and then the black paint first in contact with the glass. Then we can do the decoupage medium and then whatever color we want over top of the piece. And I think it will change this sort of haloing effect, unless you want the haloing effect. You know, so it doesn't look bad as it is, but I'm of course looking at it from the perspective of like this corner. I would like all of that kind of mirrored effect going right up toward the picture. And I lost that mirroring, even though that was awesome. Look at that corner. That looks so good. I lost that because of that decoupage medium. So we flip it. Do the mirroring, paint over the mirroring effect black, then do the decoupage medium, put your picture on, decoupage over it, paint over top of it, then you're good to go. That's now the correct order. And I will try it again, but my learnings are now your learnings. So tell me what you think, guys. Definitely give it a try with the new way and let me know how it goes if you do. But that's gonna make a huge difference, I think. But I think overall, cool effect. And I definitely would be trying it again. Thanks for tuning in. I look forward to seeing you on the next one. And as always, take care.